Hello, welcome to The United Man. My name is Shane. Today we're going to be going over all the latest transfer news, everything that's been happening over the week. That's going to be covering the latest on Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire. Obviously, we've got to talk about Milinkovic-Savic as well, and a lot more, guys. Before we get into it, just wanted to say, guys, thank you very much for the support and the rapid growth of the channel. And I cannot thank everyone enough for the support and the love that's been shown. So we hit over 1,000 subscribers on Saturday. Just wanted to say an absolutely massive thank you. We are going to be doing a giveaway. So join me on Twitter, guys, so we can select a winner by random and obviously fairly, so we can give all these goodies away. And guys, make sure you stick around, because as you can see, there's question marks next to the players, whereby I'm going to be revealing my prediction on what percentage chance they have of joining Manchester United. Let's start with Paulo Dybala. Now, this Paulo Dybala deal's obviously come out of the woodworks with relation to Romelu Lukaku leaving. Now, the latest on this one is because obviously there's been reports saying that Dybala wants to stay at Juventus, but Gazzetta dello Sport, they've come out reporting that basically Dybala's saying if he's to leave Juventus to go to Manchester United, he wants a massive wage increase. When I say massive, we're talking 750,000 a week, massive. Now, whether that's before tax or after tax, I've got no clue, but either way, that's a ridiculous amount of money. And if you ask me, that's another Sanchez waiting to happen. I know he's a lot younger, he's 25, still got a lot of growth in him, his prime years ahead of him and whatnot. But for me, if that is the case and there is truth in that, then you're just looking at, like I said, another Sanchez. And look, we can't shift Sanchez as it is. So for me, if there's any truth in that one at all, just leave that well alone. For me, clearly he doesn't want to leave Juventus, and he's come out with that because he more likely knows Manchester United aren't going to want to pay that sort of money for him on a weekly basis. So for me, either way you look at it, he doesn't want to go to Manchester United. I don't think that's going to happen, as much as I'm a fan of Paulo Dybala, and I do think that his form last season was a direct impact of Cristiano Ronaldo joining them, and obviously he's taken a lot of the limelight. So for me, I wouldn't want that one to happen. They also reported that is a bit of a three-way deal, it would seem, because what they've come out saying is that Dybala would be going to United, and Lukaku would be going to Inter, and then Icardi would be going to Juventus. So yeah, I don't know. That's a three-way deal that Gazzetta dello Sport have come out and said is a viable option, and that the almost trade like type of deals is quite, a big thing in Italy at the moment. As I said before, guys, as you can see, the question marks over the players and what I believe the chance of them joining Manchester United are, those ratings are going to be revealed in just a moment. Just wanted to go for the Bruno Fernandes latest as well. Now, it was dropped yesterday by one or two sources saying that there's been a fee agreed for Bruno Fernandes. Now, I wanted to hold fire on this one before I reported this one to see if this one was going to gain any traction, or indeed if it's going to be like another Harry Maguire scenario where over a course of a couple of weeks, people have come out and said there's a fee agreed, there's a medical booked. Essentially, that's what happened as well. Now, Sky Sports have now jumped on this as well, and they're saying that a fee has been agreed and it's close to £70 million. And apparently the move to Old Trafford could be confirmed in as soon as 48 hours. So obviously that would mean that there's a medical booked within that time as well. Now, with that, you've got a lot of Portuguese press today also obviously putting their 2 pence on it as well. For example, with Correio da Manhã, they're saying Fernandes will be having his last game for Sporting today against Valencia. And you've got Journal de Noticias. They're saying no agreement is in place between the two clubs, and there's also no medical scheduled. So you've kind of got two sides of the coin there. You've also got multiple sources saying that Bruno Fernandes is telling close friends and family that the deal is very close or imminent. So, as I say, that sounds very, very much like the Harry Maguire thing, where you had, a couple of sources, not one of the major ones or what you'd call the major reputable ones, but you had a couple of reports coming out saying that a fee's been agreed and there's a medical booked. And there was one local newspaper for Leicester saying that that's not the case. Now, it's a very similar case with this Bruno Fernandes deal. Difference is this time, though, Sky Sports have jumped on this one. And this summer, Sky Sports have actually done all right in terms of their, their sources and their predictions of what's going on. They got Wan-Bissaka right. They've got Daniel James right. So, Sky Sports have been on point this summer. Not always been the case over the past few years, but this summer they've been on point. Just to give you my predictions on the likelihood of the transfers that we linked with at the moment. If we start with Serge Milinkovic-Savic, I believe that's a 40% chance of that happening, purely because that's solely based on whether Pogba goes or not. Paulo Dybala. Now, it's pretty evident to me that Paulo Dybala doesn't want to leave Juventus, doesn't really want to join Manchester United. So for me, even though there's reports coming out saying that he would only join Manchester United for a major wage increase, for me, I'll give that one a 20% chance of happening. Bruno Fernandes, the yo-yo deal. Now, I don't think it ever really went away. As I said before on one of my previous videos, I believe that Manchester United were calling Sporting's bluff. And I believe that one's around about 85% chance of getting done. And finally, as I've mentioned before, I just believe it's a case of when and not if the deal's going to happen. It's Harry Maguire. I'm going to give him a 90% chance of him moving to Manchester United. I just believe it's Man United are going to have to break the world record for a defender, and they don't want to, but yeah, I think they're going to have to secure Harry Maguire. Milinkovic-Savic. Now, we read and it was reported earlier in the week that his agent, Matthias Kesman, would be meeting with Manchester United officials in London. Now, we're at the other end of that now, where it's saying that meetings happened and everything went well. They wasn't exactly harmonious on the transfer fee, but that was reportedly not believed to be an issue. What is believed to be an issue, reported by Il Tempo in the Italian media, is the fact that Paul Pogba is still there. And this deal is only like to go through if Paul Pogba leaves. Now, for me, Milinkovic-Savic is a very good player, but Paul Pogba, for me, is a cut above, is a step above Milinkovic-Savic. So, albeit though Milinkovic-Savic does bring other qualities to Manchester United should he arrive, but they are similar in certain ways as well. I've said in one of my previous videos, I believe that Pogba is much better passer than Milinkovic-Savic. But Milinkovic-Savic is a beast in the air. He's like Pogba. He's dangerous from outside the box. He can be a good goal scoring midfielder. But as I say, Pogba's a step up, and I believe they're looking at Milinkovic-Savic as a direct replacement for Pogba. Harry Maguire. Now, it's been reported by Sky Sports over the week that Brendan Rodgers gave an update on the Harry Maguire deal. He's come out and said that basically, other than those two rejected bids, there are no further forward. Now, I was speaking with one of my friends in relation to the transfer dealings, and I was saying, even if Woodward was to drop 3 or 4 signings this week, for example, for me, I'm still not happy with the performance of the club in the transfer market this summer, because there's a settling in period. Obviously, Solskjaer is trying to implement a new style. You're not just going to get these players in and all of a sudden they're going to hit the ground running and understand. They might, but it's a very, very slim chance, obviously. So there's got to be an adjustment period. Hence why Solskjaer was asking for Manchester United's business to be done before they went on tour. So for me, Woodward's failed, and I know he's trying to penny pinch at every single turn. And obviously what's evident and what's clear, he's, you know, Manchester United, as long as Man United keep making a lot of money like they do, the Glazers, and we all know Woodward is the Glazers' puppet, the Glazers aren't going to be saying boo to a goose because they're making a lot of money. But in terms of success on the pitch, now, if we're not getting these deals over the line, the gap between ourselves and the winners of the Premier League, obviously last season that being Man City and obviously Liverpool 1 point behind them, the gap's going to end up like the Grand Canyon, and you know, we're going to fall further and further behind. We can't allow it to happen, but it seems to me like the fact we haven't appointed a director of football. Now, all these things are crucial in the rebuild of Manchester United, and it just seems like Woodward and his team just do not want to relinquish any power. Yeah, it's worrying. Yes or no, there's a lot being linked with us at the moment. There's a lot of players linked in with us at the moment. But as I said, yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. The fact that we still haven't got these deals over the line yet. Okay, so that's all the roundup. Thank you very much for joining me again. Make sure you like, subscribe and comment. Get engaged, guys. Love speaking to the community as well. I do reply to every single comment that I see. So yeah, make sure you get commenting as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.